របៀបនៃការបង្កើតគណនី
ចាប់ពីថ្ងៃទី1 ខែតុលាឆ្នាំនេះយើងនៃគណៈបក្សសង្គ្រោះជាតិនៅ
សមាជិកគណៈបក្សសង្គ្រោះជាតិប្រាជ្ញាផ្លេចសាមគ្គីក្រុមនានាសង្គ្រោះបម្រើការពារកម្ពុជាខ្មែរត្រឹមរកគ្នាទាមទារសិទ្ធិសេរីឯករាជ្យបូរណភាពអធិបតេយ្យខ្មែរប្រស្រីបដូរផ្ដាច់ថែរក្សាមិនឲ្យបរទេសឈ្លានពានមកត្រួតត្រាសម្បត្តិដូនតាធនធានជាតិខ្មែរព្រះអាទិត្យរាំងបំភ្លឺកម្ពុជាខ្មែរឯកភាពគ្នាដងស្រាយបញ្ហាយោបាយសេដ្ឋកិច្ចសង្គមអហិង្សាសពវត្តថ្លៃថ្លាជីវភាពរុងរឿងដីយើងពូជយើងភូខលយើងខ្មែរក្រោមឡានសង្គមជាខេមរាឆ្នោតឲ្យចំដល់អំណាចជូនប្រជាដើម្បីកម្ពុជារួមរឿងសេងសានជ័យយោគណៈបក្សសង្គ្រោះជាតិសមាជិកគណៈបក្សសង្គ្រោះជាតិប្រាជ្ញាថ្មីគ្មានសាមគ្គីក្រុមនានាសង្គ្រោះបម្រើការពារកម្ពុជាខ្មែរត្រឹមរកគ្នាទាមទារសិទ្ធិសេរីឯករាជ្យបូរណភាពអធិបតេយ្យខ្មែរប្រស្រីបដូរផ្ដាច់ថែរក្សាមិនឲ្យបរទេសឈ្លានពានមកត្រួតត្រាសម្បត្តិដូនតាធនធានជាតិខ្មែរព្រះអាទិត្យរាំងបំភ្លឺកម្ពុជាខ្មែរឯកភាពគ្នាដងស្រាយបញ្ហាយោបាយសេដ្ឋកិច្ចសង្គមអហិង្សាសពវត្តថ្លៃថ្លាជីវភាពរុងរឿងដីយើងពូជយើងភូខលយើងខ្មែរក្រោមឡានសង្គ្រោះជាតិខេមរាបោះឆ្នោតឲ្យចំផ្ដល់អំណាចជូនប្រជាដើម្បីកម្ពុជារួមរឿងសេងសាន
ជំរាបសួរ and welcome. Thank you for joining our show. This is Khmer Youth Voices for Justice. This is part of the CNRP America live TV show. Again, thank you for joining our show. My name is Linda Wu. I am broadcasting live from Los Angeles, California. Today is October 19, 2021. Again, thank you for joining our show. I'm glad you're here, but before we start, please help to support our petitions. Thank you for everyone who have supported our petition so far. We have over 110,000 signatures. Our petitions ending impunity for justice in Cambodia at change.org. Please help to support our petitions. Our petitions is looking for at least 500,000 signatures. Until now, hundreds of victims have never received any justice. Ending impunity for justice in Cambodia, seeking to end state-backed killing in Cambodia. Please help to share the petitions at change.org, sign the petitions, and seek more petitions. We at a historic high of over 110 signature, but we are looking for at least 500,000 signatures. Please help to share and also to sign our petitions. I have a short clip by Her Excellency Musakur thanking you, the supporter of the petitions, when we were at 100,000K. So please watch the video, and it's a campaign, and the campaign still continue. Many people have asked me, how many do we need? We need as much as possible. Our goal is still at least 500,000 signatures.
អីប៉ាធ្វើល្អបានគេសម្រាប់
រដ្ឋប្រហារថ្ងៃទី5 ទី6 ជីវជាត្រូវបានថ្មកំភ្លើងបានសម្លាប់នេះជាប់ពាក់ព័ន្ធនឹងរាជរដ្ឋាភិបាលនេះអ្នកជ្រាបពីសិទ្ធិលោកដិតកម្មលីត្រូវបានថ្មកំភ្លើងបានសម្លាប់3គ្រាប់កាលពីថ្ងៃក្រោយប៉ុន្តែប្រាក់បេះដូងលែងដើរដើមសកុតភ្លៀង
ខ្ញុំសូមថ្លែងអំណរគុណទៅដល់បងប្អូនដែលបានចូលរួមចុះហត្ថលេខាលើញ៉ាត់យុទ្ធនាការបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពនៅកម្ពុជាតាមនិយាយទាំងអស់ពីពិភពលោកបានចូលរួមធ្វើនៅកាតព្វកិច្ចដ៏សំខាន់មួយពិសេសយុវជនដែលបានចូលរួមញ៉ាត់បញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពនៅប្រទេសកម្ពុជារបស់យើងហើយក៏ជាលើកទី1នៅក្នុងប្រវត្តិសាស្ត្រដែលបងប្អូនខ្មែរទូទាំងពិភពលោកអាចមានឱកាសចូលរួមស្វែងរកយុត្តិធម៌ជូនអ្នកដែលបានបាត់បង់ជីវិតទៅហើយនៅពេលនេះញ៉ាត់យើងបានជាង 100000 ដែលញ៉ាត់របស់យើងគឺមានចំនួន 100000 ជាងហើយមិនដែលមានញ៉ាត់ណាមានខ្ពស់ដល់ប៉ុណ្ណឹងហើយនីតិរដ្ឋភាពនៅប្រទេសកម្ពុជាដែលយើងចង់បញ្ចប់គឺករណីសម្លាប់ដោយរដ្ឋដូចជាករណីលោកជាវិជាករណីលោកស្រីពិសិដ្ឋលក្ខណៈករណីលោកករណីលោកឈុតវិធីករណីនៃបដិជនសុនប៊ុនធឿនបានសម្លាប់ទង្ពាលទៅលើពលរដ្ឋទៅលើអ្នកចេះដឹងទៅលើអ្នកដែលឈឺឆ្អាលរឿងប្រទេសជាតិរឿងនយោបាយហើយបន្តប៉ុណ្ណោះគឺយើងនឹងស្វែងរកយុត្តិធម៌នៅក្នុងប្រទេសកម្ពុជាទៀតមិនឲ្យមានការកាប់សម្លាប់ប្រជាពលរដ្ឋក្រៅប្រព័ន្ធច្បាប់នោះទេដូច្នេះយុទ្ធនាការនេះគឺជាយន្តការអន្តរជាតិមួយដើម្បីជួយរកយុត្តិធម៌គាត់តាមរយៈអន្តរជាតិដើម្បីយើងប្តឹងទៅតុលាការអន្តរជាតិជួយរកភាពយុត្តិធម៌ជូនអ្នកដែលបានបាត់បង់ជីវិតអ្នកដែលយកបានមកចុះហត្ថលេខាជាង 100000 អ្នកនេះគឺយើងយកទៅអង្គការសហប្រជាជាតិដើម្បីទាមទារឲ្យអង្គការសហប្រជាជាតិដឹងថាត្រូវតែមានការស៊ើបអង្កេតដោយឯករាជ្យលើករណីទាំងអស់នេះលុះត្រាតែបងប្អូនយើងទាំងអស់គ្នានៅក្នុងស្រុកនិងក្រៅស្រុកចូលរួមឲ្យបានច្រើនបន្តនៅយុទ្ធនាការបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពនៅក្នុងប្រទេសកម្ពុជាដូច្នេះសូមបន្តចុះញត្តិឲ្យបានច្រើនគ្រប់គ្នាបន្ថែមទៀតហើយខ្ញុំសង្ឃឹមថាពុកម៉ែបងប្អូននឹងបន្តចុះញត្តិអនឡាញនេះបន្តទៅទៀតដើម្បីឈានទៅរកយុត្តិធម៌ជូនដល់ជនរងគ្រោះឲ្យបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពនៅប្រទេសកម្ពុជាដោយគ្រាន់តែបងប្អូនមានត្រឹមតែទូរស័ព្ទដៃមួយគ្រឿងនេះគឺជារឿងអស្ចារ្យមួយនៅក្នុងសតវត្សទី21នាសម័យបច្ចេកវិទ្យានេះយើងរួមគ្នាបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពដើម្បីយុត្តិធម៌នៅកម្ពុជាចូលរួមបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពដើម្បីយុត្តិធម៌នៅក្នុងកម្ពុជាយើងចូលរួមបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពដើម្បីយុត្តិធម៌នៅកម្ពុជាទាំងអស់គ្នាយើងរួមគ្នាដើម្បីបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពនៅប្រទេសកម្ពុជាដើម្បីបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពឲ្យមានយុត្តិធម៌នៅក្នុងប្រទេសកម្ពុជារួមគ្នាបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពដើម្បីយុត្តិធម៌នៅប្រទេសកម្ពុជារួមគ្នាបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពដើម្បីយុត្តិធម៌នៅកម្ពុជាសូមបងប្អូនចូលរួមចុះហត្ថលេខាលើញត្តិរបស់យើងដើម្បីបញ្ចប់វប្បធម៌នីតិរដ្ឋភាពនៅប្រទេសកម្ពុជាដើម្បីរកយុត្តិធម៌ជូនទៅដល់អ្នកដែលរងគ្រោះចូលរួមបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពនៅក្នុងប្រទេសកម្ពុជាចូលរួម
Thank you. Please continue to support our petition. Your support is very vital to our campaign. Again, ending impunity for justice in Cambodia at change.org. Until now, hundreds of victims have never received any justice. Together, we fight to end impunity. Justice for victims of state-backed killing in Cambodia. Please help to support our petitions. it's still going on. So please head to change.org and sign our petitions. Again, my name is Linda, and thank you for joining our show. Welcome and thank you. This is Khmer Youth Voices for Justice. This is part of the CNRP America live show. I'm very excited today. I have a brand new guest, and also I have Samady with me. Our topic today, we will continue to talk about Paris Peace Accord. On the 23rd, we will be commemorating the 30th anniversary. So our CNRP campaign is to bring awareness to our audience, also bring awareness to the youth, especially the youth outside of Cambodia and also the youth inside Cambodia. Like I said last week and the week before, the regime does not celebrate Paris Peace Accord anymore. They took out the holiday from their calendar. And so it is important that we bring this topic up, this issue up. We want to motivate our youth. We want our youth to know what's our history. So that's why we've been talking about Paris Peace Accord. The topic today is going to be into Paris Peace Accord, but we are mainly going to be focused on human rights. So please watch our show, share our show. Thank you so much. Let me bring my guest out. My first guest, you know him. His name is Samady. He is the youth at Los Angeles, California. And welcome, Samady.
How are you today?
I'm good. How you been?
I'm fine, thank you.
What are you going to do this weekend to commemorate the 30th anniversary of the Paris Peace Accord?
We will hold a protest in front of I think in LA. We will hold a protest in LA in front of the Chinese embassy, I think.
Consulate.
And to promote Paris Peace Agreement, so they can honor this agreement when it was made, to remind people that Cambodia still honors Paris Peace of Agreement, because in Cambodia, as we can see, the government, the regime hasn't agreed upon this agreement that they have signed yet. So
thank you, Samady, and for our Cambodian community that living close to Los Angeles or living close to San Francisco. Los Angeles will hold a protest at the Chinese consulate. It's in LA. There's a flyer on CNRP America web Facebook page. Please look at that, and if you need an address, contact me, contact somebody. We have that. We also have a protest in San Francisco. Also, we also have another protest, the big one at Washington, D.C. on Friday, the 22nd. If you are around Washington, D.C., please join our protest. It's commemorate the 30th anniversary of the Paris Peace Accord. If you are close to Los Angeles or close to San Francisco, please join both of those locations. I am and Samady in Los Angeles, so please come and join us and be with us and protest with us. It's going to be on Saturday the 23rd in Los Angeles, and also the same day, Saturday the 23rd in San Francisco. Our protest is going to be from 10 to 1. Directly right in front of the Chinese consulate. So please join us. Come and meet us. Come and say hi to us. And we will go. There's no limit on the crowd. We will practice social distance. But please join us this Saturday. Thank you, Samady, and thank you for being here today.
No problem.
Sorry, I cannot hear your voice. Linda. I don't know why.
Oh no, I actually mute myself.
Okay,
If
I
you
hear you
missed,
now.
can you hear me now?
Yeah. I hear
Okay.
you. I hear you now.
Mr. Sithy Chhun, he is very well known in the Cambodian Facebook talk, but this is his first time with me, with our show. And thank you so much for being here today. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you, Bong Linda. Yeah, I want to I want to introduce myself first because some audience they don't know me in English show. I am Chhun Sithy. I am a CNRP youth president in Pailin province. I am a former CNRP community councillor in Pailin, and I am a former political priest. Yes.
Thank you. And where are you currently staying right now?
Yeah.
Where are you currently living? Where are you currently living right now?
Thailand. I'm in
You're in
Thailand.
Thailand.
I've been here for over 2 years in Thailand. Yes.
Thank you, and thank you for being here today. I appreciate it. I and Samady and I will talk about Paris Peace Accord. So you will, and we're talking about human rights. So you have a lot of input regarding human rights because you've been in Cambodia, and the reason you are in Thailand, we will explain later as we go into the topic. But thank you so much for being here, and I appreciate it.
Yeah. Welcome.
Let me put Samady back. Samady, thank you for being here. Thank you both of my guests for being here. Let me start by playing a video. I found this video clip, and after that I want to ask my guests how they feel after that seeing the video, and is anything changed in Cambodia. Let me introduce the video a little bit. The video is since 2017. So when you listen to the video and they're talking about next year election, it's very close. It's very familiar. Like because right now we also going to have commune elections in Cambodia as well. So it's very similar. But just to let the audience know, the video is shot in 2017.
A report by Human Rights Watch has revealed that civil and political rights are deteriorating in Cambodia. It comes off the back of the arrest of multiple opposition members, the clampdown on the press. All domestic media is now under government control. Prime Minister Hun Sen is one of the world's longest-serving leaders, and critics say he's attempting to extend his power. Elections don't take place until next year, but the crackdown has forced half of the main opposition parties to flee. Well, one person who's among the politicians who fled is Sam Rainsy. He's been in exile since 2015 and is the former president of the Cambodia National Rescue Party. He joins me now from Paris. I thank you very much for joining us, Sam. By imprisoning Kem Sokha, what message is Prime Minister Hun Sen trying to give to you and all the other opposition leaders in the country?
Prime Minister Hun Sen wants to disrupt the electoral process. We are scheduled to have election next year in less than 10 months. He knows that he would lose those elections. It is why he has arrested the opposition leader, and he is arresting more opposition members of parliament. So there is no possibility of a free, fair competition. Therefore, he can be assured to win without any challenger.
He's been in power for 32 years. He has been elected in by and large free and fair elections in the past. With that in mind, to what extent is Cambodia a democracy right now?
No, Hun Sen has never been elected democratically. The first ever democratic elections that were held in Cambodia was organized by the United Nations in 1993. And then Hun Sen lost, his party lost the election. Then he staged a coup d'etat a few years later, 1997. He staged a coup d'etat to seize all power. And then he manipulated all subsequent elections to win the last elections. But the popular support for the opposition, the democratic opposition that has been united for the first time in Cambodia, we have a united democratic opposition party, and this party is gaining ground at the last election. In spite of many irregularities, the two parties came neck and neck, and next election, if they were held properly, the opposition will probably win. It is why Hun Sen wants now to dissolve the opposition party after arresting many and more opposition members of parliament.
Do you think that if you had to go back today, he would arrest you?
Definitely, but we expect the international community to put pressure on the current government in Cambodia, because Cambodia is a very small country, very dependent on international assistance. Therefore, the international community can put pressure on the Cambodian government to force the Cambodian government to release the opposition leader and to allow the situation to return to normal so that the acceptable elections can be held.
How much can the international community really do when China is Cambodia's main backer and China is standing by Hun Sen?
China cannot replace the rest of the world. For instance, in terms of market for Cambodia's export.
That's a little short clip of the interview by our CNRP acting president Sam Rangsi. I just want to remind our audience that video was from 2017. Now let me ask short questions, or maybe I'm going to ask both guys. Mr. Sithy, since 2017, that video clip until now, any different? Any improvement in Cambodia regarding human rights and democracy? Also talking about election mostly in that video. Anything change at all from your perspective?
I think it is no, it haven't changed at all. Only a little bit. It's the violent thing. It's bigger and bigger. So I think the human right in the Cambodia is bad and bad. I think like this. So I think the UN should help Cambodian people in this time, because I think it's very bad, very bad for the Cambodian people now, especially for democracy. It's democracy. Democracies are dead in this time. So I think the UN should to help Cambodian people in this time. Yes.
Thank you. From what you said, that UN should come and help, and also heal the regime responsible for the step back of democracy and also the sliding of human rights. Samady, same thing, like the same questions to you. From watching that video, I just found it this morning, and to me, from watching that, I wasn't sure it was new, but when I look at it, beside that, Mr. Sombrangsi is a little younger. Since 2017, how is the human right and democracy in Cambodia until now? Like, it's been 4 years.
Nothing has changed. The main opposition party, like the Cambodian National Rescue Party, also known as CNRP, is still dissolved by the government, wrongfully dissolved. Human right in Cambodia taking 3 steps backward. As you can see, the international community have put more pressures by taking 20% EBA cut. Remember 2017, not many national community put pressures on the regime yet, but as of now, they did put a lot of pressures, especially during this COVID time. Those $100 millions that lost from EBA really impacted the Cambodian economy. So, and as you can see, a couple months ago, he arrested youth that is similar to my age for being speaking out the truth. I'm talking about pollution in Cambodia. For example, we drain all the sand in Cambodia, and all they ask is who fault is it? So who responsible for this disaster in our country? And they got arrested and thrown in jail. This is violating human right under Paris Peace Agreement. Yes, that is the youth and the people that has been arrested recently, as you can see. Not even related to any political motive. They just speaking out the truth, just want to give a constructive criticism to the government that, hey, you did this wrong, this is not right, that our country losing all the forest, losing all the sand, and they just would like to educate younger generation like myself to be aware of our country natural resources, and they got arrested and thrown to jail. So this is shown that we have taken many steps backward from the right directions and headed toward communism like we used to be in 1979 in Pol Pot era. So huge step back from democracy. Nothing has changed.
Thank you, Samady. And when you brought up the youth topic, let's dive into our topic of the 30-year anniversary of Paris Peace Accord, going to be on Saturday. So it's going to be 30 years. How important is it that we still remember this Paris Peace Accord? We don't just remember, we celebrating it, we still celebrating it, we talking each day in CNRP America and also CNRP talking about this Paris Peace Accord. Is going to be 30 years where the regime is took this celebration out of their calendars, I believe 2 years ago. How important it is that our youth know about this agreements.
You asking me, Mom?
Yes, you.
Okay, so first, as you can see, recently under Hun Sen regime, he put his face on the 30,000 real. This is to show that to make the younger generations to forget about those agreements and to only remember what he did for our country. Even though in the U.S. We have a law, we cannot put faces on money unless you passed away, because you want people to remember your legacy. And in Cambodia, Hun Sen hasn't passed away yet. He's still in power, but he still wants people to remember his legacy. I believe this all comes down to him, of being like when he passed away, people not going to remember him, and the country might change toward the democracy path, and his name will be in vain of all the things that he did in Cambodia. And on the Paris Peace of Agreement, on our side, I believe this agreement commonly agree on 4 parts, but the only significant part that I will talk about is the conflict that's declaration of reconstructions in Cambodia. That's what it say in the Paris Peace of Agreement. By promoting national reconciliations and ensure that to exercise basic human right. And under this agreement, we agree that all human should be built upon the principle that are universal and belong to everyone equally. In this case, we're talking about the right to vote and freedom of speech. And dissolving of Cambodian National Rescue Party, for example, in the agreement, he agreed that to treat everyone fairly, but I, as a Cambodian citizen, I would like to vote for this political party known as CNRP. And if they found out that I still support this party, they're gonna arrest me because of my political affiliation. So this is violating the Paris Peace of Agreement, and by dissolving CNRP, also violating this agreement. And when the youth learn that they can use this Paris Peace of Agreement to challenge the government, that will create conflicts. And when they have that ideas, like during the Pol Pot era, they will stand up against the government, and this could not guarantee Hun Sen power for long. So this is why they want to forget about Paris Peace of Agreement, and this is why we should always remind our youth that Paris Peace of Agreement is the most crucial part toward democracy in Cambodia.
Thank you, Samady, and thank you for that answer. It's very important. That's why we are still talking about it, and our CNRP has a campaign for 23 days, but we will still talking about it next month as well. Now, Mr. Sithy, can you help us to, from your opinion, why is the Paris Peace Accord still important, still alive today?
Yeah, I think it's very important. It's still alive today because it is important even for Cambodian people, and we got the peace every day from Paris Peace Accord or PPA. I want to go back the background. In April 1975, the war in the Vietnam ended, but in Cambodia, the Khmer rule KO revolutionaries took over, ruling until January 1979. During that time, more than 1.7 million people died from starvation, overwork, lack of healthcare, and summary execution. In December 1978, the Vietnamese army swept into Cambodia with a core group of former KO Cambodians who had fled to Vietnam during the Vietnamese War.
Let me interrupt you, Mr. Sithy. Let me interrupt you. So yes, the Vietnamese doesn't come and help Cambodia. What did they do? They came to, what did they, the Vietnamese army, what did they do? Why did they came over to Cambodia?
Yes, they came in Cambodia for in division, it is not for helping. They want to take control Cambodia because the Vietnamese leaders' ambition, they have a plan for a long time, especially for Ho Chi Minh. They start from 1930, until 1978, they start to use this plan. Yeah, I want to go on to the history more. Civil wars, when civil war then broke out in Cambodia and along the Thai-Cambodia border between four factions. The Vietnamese-backed People's Republic of Cambodia, PRK, headed by Prime Minister Hun Sen, who remained Prime Minister today. versus the KO and the non-communist resistance and CO led by Cambodia's former King Sihanouk and Republican led by Son Sann, prologuing the conflict. Each side was supported by external actors who played a long Cold War device. The war stretched on for 14 years until the autumn of 1991. The Paris Peace or PPA 1991, which ended the Vietnam-Cambodia conflict, was concluded at the unique time of geopolitical confluence. The Cold Wars were ended. Yeah, I think it's very important for Cambodian and for the world also, because after the Second World War, the world have had separated three blocks. One, communist. Second, democracy. And the third, neutral. So when we have PPA, we finish everything all over the world. Yes, that's it.
According to the regime and also according to the ambassador, the U.S. The Cambodian ambassador to the U.S., he gave a speech, and also I read it many times in Khmer, that the PPA does not end the war. It's the Hun Sen policy of win-win policy. That's why it's end the war, and that's how Cambodia have peace and prosperity. How do you respond to fake news like that? That his win-win policy,บอกไปKhmer, you know, his is that fake news, or is that he trying to erase history that is not even exist?
Yes, that's right. Win-win policy, it's only fact. They try to delete the Paris Peace, because the Paris Peace it's very important for Cambodia. If there are if Cambodia have Paris Peace, the Vietnam cannot control the Cambodia, and especially for the dictator like Hun Sen, they cannot control Cambodia. Because Paris Peace, they said about the democracy, they said about this human rights, and they respect everything. So I think Hun Sen cannot control like this. So they have to try to delete this day from the national calendar. They want the people forget this day, and they promote themselves. They said they like especially for Hun Sen, they want to say he is a hero in Cambodia like this. Yeah.
Thank you. It is correct. And like Samady said recently, not recently, yesterday, he proposed to have his money, the money having his picture with King Norodom Sihanouk, correct, Mr. Sithy?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You see in the picture the news, the new money. Hun Sen, he stand before Sihanouk King, means he want to promote himself. So I think it is not good for the Cambodia history if we have the leader like this. I think it's very bad. Yeah.
Thank you. And it is clearly show that they are trying to erase the history. It clearly show that they are trying to tell the youth and telling the new generations that Paris Peace Accord doesn't exist. And also it's him, the one that end the war, his policy that bring, you know, peace and prosperity to Cambodia. Now talking about peace and prosperity, I'm going to go into human rights issue. I want Mr. Sithy to share a little bit of his personal life. I'm not sure our audience aware or our audience pay attention. Mr. Sithy, he is currently living in Thailand. And can you help to share a little bit of yourself, why you in Thailand, and what's the reason you in Thailand?
Yes, before I tell you about this, I want to say about my background, why I am in Thailand, why I escaped from Cambodia. You know, I was sentenced to 1 year in prison for incitement over video I posted on Facebook in October 24, 2017. In the videos I post, I reply to Hun Sen that I am a commune councillor and I would like to send this message to Mr. Hun Sen that I don't want this 570,000 real councillor salary. I don't want to say this much money. I don't even want $570,000 because I work for my will. My will is my life. I want to change. I edit in this video, Mr. Hun Sen, please don't think that you are the cleverest person. Sometimes the cleverest man is most ignorant man. I say in this video. I was arrested in October, less than 24 hours after posting a video on Facebook rejecting Prime Minister Hun Sen. Mr. Hun Sen called for, when Mr. Hun Sen called for Cambodian National Rescue Party officer to defect to the rule party. At the time, Twitter said I was being charged over that video. Judge Liming convicted me of incitement to disturb social security and insulting a public officer. The judge also ordered me to pay $1,000 each to 2 complainants. However, my lawyer Pailin said the court seemed to conflate the clip with previous video that I posted on my Facebook showing
I think his video froze. Let me get Samady to chime in, since we are in the topic of human rights. We did say that as we step backward on human rights. Samady, can you share a little bit of what's going on in Cambodia right now, and how many like is the opposition political activists, are they still in jail, or are they free to roam around? How's the freedom of speech in Cambodia?
So the question is like the human right in Cambodia
Yes.
as of now.
How's the human rights situation in Cambodia right now?
I believe it hasn't improved. So all the opposition party who supported CNRP that got arrested from 2017 until now hasn't been released yet. They still in jail. And there's nothing changed in Cambodia. As Luk Pu said, he mentioned that during Khmer Rouge, Hun Sen was created, his party, and he want people to remember that he's the hero during that era. And right now, the atmosphere that he created in Cambodia, this political view that he created, is for people to remember him as a savior of Cambodia. You see, during Khmer Rouge, they place heavy emphasis on the rural population, uneducated people, and they only want to keep them so that they can create a slave state, and then be in power so no one can challenge them. As of now in Cambodia, by getting rid of Paris Peace Agreement and come up with a new ideas that for youth, younger generations see the regime as the hero or the savior, by brainwashing them into believing that this would keep them in power for a long time. From him, if he decided to step down, his son can come up and take his position, and so on. So this will keep on continuing, and the younger generation will remember the Hun family as the savior of Cambodia. And they want to create a society where Cambodia doesn't have any interference from outsider. As Mr. Samady said, Cambodia is a dependent country that heavily dependent on the West to do business, to make our country prosper economically. And by doing this, Cambodia can head into China instead of the West by doing business with China and adopted their political ideology. So this would open up many doors, I believe, by getting rid of Paris Peace Agreement. And now, since he created this image of him as the hero, his face is on the money, this will secure him for 10 more, like 2 to 3 more generations of Hun Sen family as a savior for Cambodia. It's nothing different than the Khmer Rouge.
So the CNRP and also CNRP-A putting a campaign out to for everybody to remember. It's very important that you remember. It's also very important that everybody remember. Let me put back Mr. Sithy. He's back on. Let me have him continue his story because it's related to our human right. Samady and I, we can only talk about it, we can only see it, we can only know what's going on, but we have never experienced it. So I want him to continue with his story.
Sorry, because I have a problem with my internet. I'm sorry.
No problem, no problem.
Okay. Yes. Okay. I want to add some experience a little bit more. However, my lawyer Pailin said the court seemed to conflict clip with previous video that I posted on my Facebook. So Cambodian People Party official argument with opposition official at the local commune hall. And in one of the video, an outgoing CPP clerk threatened to slap a female concealer. My lawyer said none of the video amounted to or insulting public officials. I did not the intention to incite or look down on other person. I just want to express my freedom and improve the characteristic of staff. The complainant and the people clerk and the clerk's assistant, they threaten to beat a CNRP commune councillor, and I use a camera to take a video. Then the one who threatened to beat other did not get accused of a scratch, but the one who just took the video was guilty instead.
Mr. Sithy, Mr. Sithy, did you get a fair trial? Did you, from your opinion, do you go to trial and do you feel that they are on your side or they are biased, or how do you feel about the trial?
I feel it is unjust for me. Unjust for me. Yeah, because I was just keeping my stand strong. I was just keeping my stand strong. I did not insult or incite anyone. I am of a string. I think I am one of a string of government critic or like opposition official to face legal challenges. Yeah, in recent months, particularly before the forced dissolution of the CNRP at the government behest. In October 2018, I was released 1 year in the prison. I stayed 1 year in the prison. In September 19, I escaped to Thailand because of the Pailin court a new statement saying prosecutor had charged CNRP activist Chhun, Sithy, Vandara, Chhun, and Kinpon with plotting a coup. So I have to escape to Thailand. If I stay in my homeland, I will go to jail. I will arrested again. I will arrest again. So on 21 Pailin judge convicted me of conspiracy treason, 7 years in prison.
But you're not even in Cambodia to stand trial.
Yeah, now I am not in Cambodia to stand trial, but they charged me, they convicted me in Pailin. I don't know why, and they don't even tell me about this also. But I got my warrant from warrant from my lawyer. He just gave me some new lawyer. Yeah. So I think it is unjust for me. I think like this. Yeah, that's all. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Sithy, for sharing your experience. And I'm sure, Samady, when you listen to it, this is in 2017 to 2019. It's a very similar case. We all heard it about people that they were issued warrant and they're not even in the country, and the court went ahead and convicted them. And there's also the court went ahead and convicted Mr. Sithy based on in 2017 based on the video or YouTube video that he posted. How is there anything that changed Samady since then until now when you come to human rights?
Facebook.
Oh, Facebook post.
Yeah, Facebook post.
So what's your question again, Ron?
Anything changed since Mr. Sithy and now his arrest and his being thrown in jail, and then when he's out of jail, there's not a warrant arrest for trying to for incitement, trying to a coup on the regime. Is that similar to everybody, and also a similar story? Everybody that speak against the regime get arrest and throw in jail.
Yeah, Bong, I believe nothing changed. Under Hun Sen regime, he always aimed for the people that doesn't have powers to fight back. But as you can see, Terry C saying they still couldn't do anything to her. They still put her on trial, but they doesn't have the gut to arrest her and put her in prison, because she has a lot of strong international friends, and she is a lawyer who graduated from the US. So if they arrest her, they will have a lot of on their hand from the national community. But for Sithy, even though he doesn't live in Cambodia, he lives in Thailand, the government still try to put him on trial without his presence, and still want to, I think 7 years, that's what he said, to put into prison, just because a post on Facebook, just because you have different ideology from the majority of the CPP supporters. So nothing has changed. As long as you have the ideas of loving your own country and you want to pursue a genuine democracy, the regime will consider you as a threat, like Lukbu or Sithy.
Thank you, Samady. Mr. Sithy, thank you for sharing your personal life. And we all know, like Samady and I said, there's nothing have changed at all. So since we're talking about Paris Peace Accord, what do you want the signatory from the Paris Peace Accord do? Because there's other 18 countries that signed the Paris Peace Accord. Now, 30 years later, what do you want them to do?
Yes, they can use like the paper that they got when they are making it in the 1993, and they can use like constitution, Cambodia constitution. Yeah, also because Cambodia Paris Peace of Cambodia. I think this enough. But I want to say that why they don't use that, especially for the signature, 18 signature, signature that they join with the PPA. They should complain with Hun Sen government about the because we have already write about the resolution when the government countries violating violating with this PPA, especially for Cambodian people. They have to know this. They have to know this, and they have to protect themselves also by this PPA. I think, especially I think like opposition party, the biggest opposition party like CNRP, they have now they have the campaign about this for a long time. Any country in the world, yeah, they start this campaign in October 23, 2021 to make the 30th anniversary of the 1991 Paris Peace Agreement that ended the decades-long war between Cambodia and Vietnam. I want to stress this. The war long Cambodia is and Cambodian war. It is Cambodia Vietnam war. I think like this, and especially for the experts in the world, they said this also. But the Hun Sen fact, they said they told the people that the war in Cambodian, it come from Cambodia and Cambodia. I don't support this. Yeah.
We don't support that. We don't support that because we truly read the PPA, and it's very an important agreement for Cambodia, and it's very important that we all know and understand that. And we all need to understand that the regime trying to erase history, trying to rewrite their own history, and it is important that when we talk about human rights, thank you, Mr. Sithy, for sharing your experience. Still, freedom of speech is not free in Cambodia. It's still very suppressed by the regime. And also political freedom to choose who you want to elect. It's not so free and fair election is not free and fair elections because the main opposition party is not on the ballot, which is CNRP. And also CNRP supporter cannot go out and freely who claim that they are CNRP supporter cannot go out and say, cannot go out and make any noise because they're going to throw in jail. I will show a little bit, not show, I will put up some picture regarding people that currently in jail right now. That's many more that I don't have a picture of, but I just want to remind our audience when we talking about human rights, this is the face of the youth. This is the face. They have a group called Mother Nature, and what they do is they go and call attention regarding environmental. And they are currently in jail because they brought attention to what's wrong with the environment, what's wrong with the deforestation in Cambodia. There's no more lake in Cambodia, so they are in jail. This is a political activist, CNRP political activists that in jail, and they are still in jail. This is Mother Nature that is have to do with environmental, and this is the face of CNRP political activists that are in jail, that are not free. So when we talk about human rights today, that's the face that we think of when we talk about human rights. And on the 30th anniversary of PPA, we requesting the signatory, the 18 country that signed the Paris Peace Accord to come together. And also we have a campaign that we are signing the petitions right now to have the 18 signatory country to come together and come to the table and talk regarding Cambodia, because Cambodia is not, again, we talk about human rights today, and I also touch base on many topics today, and also 2 shows ago regarding Paris Peace Accord. It's not where it's at, and we want the 18 countries to come together and work on Cambodia, because democracy, human rights, it's not going on the right directions. Before we close our show, let me have Mr. Sithy. Do you have anything you want to tell our audience, anything you want to remind regarding Paris Peace Accord?
Yes, before we end up our show, I want to tell the audience that if we want to refresh our countries become like democracy's country again, democratic country again. We have to join together to fight with like a communist leader for our freedom, for our sovereignty, and for our nationality. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sithy. Samady, you have anything to conclude the show regarding Paris Peace Accord, regarding anything on Paris Peace Accord, especially to the youth?
Well, I would like to thank Sithy for joining. He is the walking reason why Cambodians still most Cambodians that love democracy still on the Paris Peace of Agreement, because he honor his will. His will is to seek genuine democracy and support CNRP. He can just go back to Cambodia if he want, if he decide to work with the CPP, but he doesn't want to. He want to believe what he believe in. He refused to accept the current regime under their ruling. So that's why he live in Thailand, because he would like to honor those Paris Peace Agreement. He want a younger generation to have the freedom of speech and the right to vote. So I would like to thank Sithy for coming into our shows and teach younger generation to always honor what you believe in.
Thank you, Samady. And yes, Mr. Sithy, thank you for being on the show. And you are welcome to come back any day. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Bong Srailida.
And thank you, Samady, for being here as well. We at the end of our show. Thank you, our audience, for tuning in. Thank you for being here. Again, I want to remind everyone, we do have a protest on this Saturday, October 23rd. Where I live, we live in Los Angeles. We have one in Los Angeles in front of the China consulate. Chinese consulate, please join us. Also in San Francisco, if you are close to Washington, D.C., please join us. Our team is going to be protesting on October 22nd. Please join us. This is it's going to be 30-year anniversary of the Paris Peace Accord. And the reason we keep talking about it, because the regime is not talking about it. It's not bringing up. At the same time, they are erasing history. So we want to bring the truth. We want to bring what we know about Paris Peace Accord, and it's still alive. It's still it make everything. It's still the Cambodian constitutions, which is freedom of speech, freedom of expressions, democracy at the end. So thank you so much for watching our show, and I will see you next Tuesday. Thank you.